I have this vision of creating these online worlds where like whoever you are is celebrated. And I wanted to tell you all a story and dive in from there. And it's a story about how I learned to love myself and how I learned to love being different. So enjoy. And then I'd love for you to take a moment and be a part of this. And I'll share how that is at the end of the story. So when I was a teen, my Tourette's was so severe. I've talked about this, I think, some, but broken bones from Tourette's, out of school from Tourette's. I had one of the worst diagnosed cases of Tourette's any doctor had ever seen. I threw my head back so hard I broke my own neck. I tensed my stomach muscles so hard from Tourette's I ruptured my own appendix. I was out of school for years. And by the time I got to boarding school, which in my one woman show I tell the whole story of how that happened, but it was a series of kind of unfortunate and incredible events that wound me up at this artsy weirdo boarding school in Burlington, Vermont. But by the time I got there, I believed that I was a waste of space. I believed that Tourette's took away from the world, that I was something other people had to work through. I was incredibly depressed, which I will absolutely talk about. And if there were a lot of questions about mental health in the Ask Pam Anything questions, so I'm already working on an entire video about mental health and wellness and resilience. But by the time I got to boarding school, I believed that I was a waste of space. Like, that was my belief system. And that's so hard to say. That was my truth. And because of that, I was a mean, angry teenager, which I think we see, right? It's a lot easier to be angry than scared or angry than sad. And I was pushing the world away from me so hard. And because of that, I had the record of the most detention ever earned in the entire history of the boarding school. I did. I like hundreds of thousands of detention hours. Those apology notes? Okay, that's all part of the same story. So one day I was in detention where I basically lived, and I happened to be the only one there, and the teacher decided to try something new. He took a sheet of paper and wrote things Pam loves about herself. And he underlined it, and he slid it in front of me, and he said, make a list. And like it was yesterday, I remember wanting so badly to have something to put on that list. And I remember seeing his face turn to fear as he realized I wasn't just being a snarky teenager, but I truly had nothing about myself that I loved or that I felt added value to the world. And my boarding school decided if I was going to pull myself out of this space of feeling worthless, I'd have something about myself that I loved, one thing as a starting point. And it was through that they put me on a journey to find something I love about myself. And it was through that journey I found stand-up comedy and improv, which, as we all know now, has been life-changing and amazing for me. So, by the way, that first day in stand-up and improv, I learned the only real rule of improv, and it's this idea of yes and. And it means, like, if you're in a scene with someone, you accept what's happening as truth and you build off of it. And when I would join a scene in improv and I was flailing and barking and making noises, they yes-anded me, right? Like, we worked that into the scene. We worked that into what was happening. And in that first day in stand-up and improv, at the second half of it, we started writing jokes. And I wrote my first 2 jokes, and the whole room erupted in laughter. And the jokes actually talked about Tourette's. Like, one of them was about my height, one of them was about Tourette's. But I was finding the humor in something that up until that moment, I don't think I had really done. And I was getting laughs, and not because of Tourette's, but because people were like hearing my humor through my Tourette's. And I think being authentic is funny. Being who you are can be really funny. It's okay to laugh at that as long as we're not laughing at people, but like with people, with life experiences. After that very first workshop, I went back to that empty list that had been sitting on my desk for weeks of things that I love about myself. And I took out a marker and I wrote sense of humor. And my boarding school framed it and they put it on my wall. And I tell you that story because my favorite thing to ask young people is like, what's one thing you love about yourself? What's one thing you love about yourself? Because if we hear it, we can mirror it back to them. We can revert back to it when moments are really tough. We have a foundation. And on the flip side, if we find out that somebody, and not even a young person, just anybody, doesn't have something that they love about themselves, what an amazing early indicator that we need to put some mental health supports in place. So if you're hearing this right now and you're thinking to yourself, I don't have anything yet. I don't have one thing I love about myself. That is okay. That is okay. But let's start the journey today. Let's start the journey today of finding something that you're going to love about yourself or finding something you love about yourself and going from there. So here's my question. In the comments, I'd love for you to celebrate yourself for a moment. Tell me something that you love about yourself. Anything. And if you don't have anything that you love about yourself, comment below one thing you're going to do to start the journey to find it. Are you going to talk to a loved one, a trusted teacher, a coach on a sports team, a youth group advisor, a clergy member? Pick somebody in your life. And if you don't have someone, there are incredible therapy programs that exist both in person and online. Can you reach out to somebody and for therapy and start this conversation? Because chances are you've got something. Every single person adds something amazing to this world. Every single person. And it is not always easy to start that journey on finding why you're here. It is not always easy. It can be really, really hard. I want to validate that. But you are here for a reason. So there's something about you that is different and amazing. And it might not even be something about you that's been easy. For me, I now love Tourette's. Tourette's has not been easy, but I think I was given it for a reason, or maybe Tourette's has allowed me to see the world from a different point of view, and I so appreciate that. So I love it. So the thing you love about yourself might not be the shiny, sparkly thing about you. It might be something that you've really struggled and grappled with. But I want to create a world where we all wake up in the morning and like we're on a journey to find something we love about ourselves, or we already have it. So share with me, because again, I want to make this a community where we are celebrating ourselves and each other. I want to make it a community where how cool that we are all different. How cool that we all bring something else to this community. How amazing is that? So comment below and share with me so that I can like take a moment with each of you and celebrate it. And if you don't have something yet, post how you're going to go on that journey to find it. And it can be, if you don't want to talk to someone, maybe journal or write about it. And maybe it's something like, I'm a great cook, or maybe it's something like, I am a great listener. It doesn't have to be a huge life-changing thing like I'm a stand-up comic, right? Like little, start somewhere. Maybe it's that you are an incredible sibling, or when your friend was struggling, you were really there for them, non-judgmentally. That's huge. Or maybe it's that you wanted to be a part of a community that celebrates differences because you know how important it is. That's a huge thing. That's something to love about yourself. Oh, I got a little misty talking about all of this. If you are posting below that you're starting your journey, to everybody who reads that, let's comment in support and celebration. And to everybody sharing their one thing, let's comment in support and celebration. This video has nothing to do with me. I want to make this video all about the comments. So share, post, celebrate each other. Let's do threads of people sharing the heck out of whatever it is they love about themselves, and threads of people being like, that's amazing. I can't wait to like try this myself. I want to meet you. I love you. You're incredible. And to that person who says I don't, or those people who say I don't have anything yet, but here's something I'm going to try, everyone be like, yes, and maybe here's another idea, or yes, tell us how it goes. So, gonna wrap this video up, but I want to do more of like us creating a community, and I'm figuring out what that looks like right now. In the days of COVID, in the days of connecting through a computer screen, I want us to feel real connection, especially in this little community that we're creating. So thanks for hanging out. Post below. I'm going to be all over these comments. I'm literally going to take the day and read them and like share in the light and the love that's going to happen. So with that, as always, and more so than ever, you do you, because you're amazing. And I know it sounds disingenuous that I'm speaking through a computer screen, but if you have met me in real life, you know that I love people who are different. I love and embrace the hell out of differences.